Hi, my name is Christine,
And my name is Mary.
and we are sisters, and we are the co-hosts of this podcast, Dawson, Cries. Mary and I decided to start this podcast because we really enjoy talking to each other on the phone and keeping in touch, but it came to be apparent that when we talk to each other, current events kind of got in our way, or maybe some life events, and we kind of got on a road that was a little dark. So we thought to ourselves, why don't we talk about something more lighthearted and fun, such as this great show from the 90s called Dawson's Creek. And, we started that about a year ago now, and ever since we've been really enjoying ourselves. And listeners, we hope you are too. And just as a PSA to all you listeners out there tonight, we are together, my sister and I, tonight in Scranton, Pennsylvania, where we're joined by our two lovely parents who we've tried to tell them don't interject during the live recording, but we can't make any promises that it won't happen. So if you hear any strange voices that don't sound like Mary and I, that's why.
Hey now.
And that's our father. All right, well, my sister Mary's going to kick us off this week, and we're excited to be here.
All right, so we're here. We're in season 3. It's Escape from Witchy Poo Island. Joey is a frantic mess because she just passed the PSATs with flying colors, but yet she failed to prepare for her essay. So she has to write an essay about the Crucible, and oops, she forgot to read it. So where does she head but the video store where the D works? She's like, please give me the movie. And he's like, oop, all checked out. So the video store is a no-go. But luckily, Dawson has another idea. He, it turns out, has made an arrangement with the professor, or the teacher rather, to make a movie, as he's wanting to do. And if he makes a movie along the same themes as The Crucible, then he won't have to write the essay. And Joey's like, oh, I guess my invitation got lost in the mail, because it turns out that Jen and Pacey are also not doing the paper, but working on the movie with Dawson. And the more they converse, the more they realize that they actually don't know that much about each other anymore. Because Dawson doesn't even know that Joey stopped working for that creepy jerk. Oh. And Joey doesn't even know that Eve skipped town. So they really aren't the friends that they used to be. And it comes out that the documentary that Dawson wants to make is based on this place called Witch Island, which is basically a Blair Witch ripoff. But the theme of the movie is going to be about the hypocrisy and the religious persecution. And, basically a bunch of teenage girls got stranded on Witch Island and accused of being witchies.
Witchy boos.
Witchy boos.
Oh my god. Mary, this opening was crazy because I kind of forgot that Dawson and Pacey even worked at that video store.
Same.
Since like episode 1.
They only work there when it's convenient for the plot.
Yeah.
Dawson, he works one shift every 2 months because we know he's a Richie Rich.
He's a Richie Poo.
He's a Richie Poo. He doesn't have to worry about things like money. So he just works there when it's plot adjacent, when Tamara's throwing it in the pilot, and then 3 seasons later when someone needs to borrow a DVD.
Right. Yeah, and I was actually shocked because this is so out of character for Joey.
Oh.
She's so obsessed with her grades, like, to a fault.
But now the B&B is opening, and all hell is breaking loose. Who's looking after Alexander?
Joey is.
Joey. She has no time to read The Crucible.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, Joey, that's not like you.
Because Bodhi is still mysteriously absent for 3 whole seasons.
I know.
Where is Bodhi?
He's R.I.P., I think. I don't know where Bodhi went.
Terrible.
Yeah, so, I mean, luckily for Joey, she can ride on Dawson's coattails and co-star in that movie. So, it sounds like they have their plan. Joey's in. They're going to do the film. Then we cut to some of the scenes from Dawson's film. Shockingly, the principal's in it. The principal is everywhere.
The principal, well, why would they pay another actor when they have this great principal character who is a great scene stealer for all sorts of different
He does. Scenarios. He commands the screen every time he's on. But they film it like, oh, here's the sides of the camera. Like, you're on the shaky docu feature from Dawson. Dawson is really turning into a documentarian also.
I know, and I called it. Did I not, listeners? Is it true? I think that I did way back in season 1 that he would be a great documentarian because he's obsessed with, seeking out the truth.
Yeah, he is all about the truth.
Because he's a truther. We said this.
You did say he's a truther.
Yes.
A truth warrior.
Yes.
Oh my god. So the principal's in Dawson's film. Mitch and Gail are in Dawson's film. And they're talking about...
TMI.
Yeah, they're talking about Witch Island. The principal says something. Mitch and Gail basically say, oh, that's like where all the kids go when they want to get hot and heavy. And Dawson gets really uncomfortable because those are his parents. And he's like, Dad.
He's seen it all before from them.
Yeah, it's nothing new for him. But he's like, averts the camera. It's like, all right, Mom. All right, Dad. I don't want to know. But they're like... Witch Island is H-O-T.
Well, they're kind of going down memory lane, and this could be some foreshadowing for the future. We know Dee wants them to get back together. Reconnecting wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I wish we had more of Gail in this episode, but we actually don't know if she's back from Philly for permanence or not.
Yeah, we don't know. We know she got fired because she was a little too old for the camera.
Even though she's hot as hell.
She's
way
H-O-T,
better looking
right?
than all the other newscasters out there.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, they're kind of like playing out their own. This is like Dawson and Joey's future, the Mitch and Gail. Well, they won't. Can they ever get over it?
I hope they're not going to relive that.
Yeah. Ugh. So after we see those clips from Dawson, we kind of get an inside look into Joey's mind. And of course, she's terrified of Blair Witch, the Blair Witch Project. And if I'm remembering correctly, I think the Blair Witch Project came out in the 90s, or at least the early 2000s.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if they're talking about it in the show came out at least 20 years ago. So, because we just celebrated the 20th anniversary.
Cheers.
So it would have been, I don't know. Yeah, the 90s. Or 2000.
Or 2000s, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, early, though. Yeah.
Early.
Yeah, early.
Yeah, I mean, I just watched it for the first time quite recently. I wasn't scared at all. I watched it with my roommate, and she was, like, screaming. I was like, there's nothing happening. I was, like, with Jen. Like, I'm annoyed.
Oh.
I'm feeling nauseous. And I'd rather be eating snacks. Joey was terrified. I think Pacey had a comment on it that he just wasn't that interested.
He's more scared of his father's home movies than he is of the Blair Witch.
His reality is too terrifying for him to be sucked in by this fake horror. Dawson thought that it was a great, groundbreaking film, and of course he stand it. So that's where we're at with the D. But yeah, Jen was just annoyed by it. She's annoyed by the whole idea of people being afraid of witches. She thinks the whole thing is like really disturbing. She thinks that being called a witch, it's nothing but a buzzword for a girl who's not afraid to follow her natural urges. And she readily says that she's the type of girl that would have been burned at the stake by now if she was alive back then. And of course she's right, because she knows what she wants. She's not afraid to go for it, and she always speaks her mind.
Yeah, totally true. And Joey even called her out. She's like, oh, Jen, you're lucky you weren't alive back then. Harsh.
Burned up.
Yeah, and Jen's like, yeah, I know.
She knows, and she's proud of it. Well, good for her.
She owns her witchiness, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and then Jen and Pacey are kind of commenting on Joey and Dee because they're like hitting up their wonder years again. They're like, oh, we're going to make this movie. Let's walk down the hall together. They call them like Winnie Cooper and whatever that guy's name is. Who can remember?
Don't remember.
But yeah, they're like, they're reliving their wonder years. And then Jen kind of turns to Pacey in her characteristic witchy ways and is like, Pacey, why didn't we ever hook up?
It's like it just never even seemed like a possibility, honestly.
No.
They just never seemed interested in each other, like, even like a pair. But yeah, now they're raising the question, like, why were we never together? Everyone else is getting together. And Pacey's like, well, basically the smart-ass sidekick never gets the girl. And I'm like, ugh, Pacey, we know that you're so much more than the smart-ass sidekick. And he's like, well, actually, the truth of the matter is that neither of us needed anything from each other. Like, what I needed in the moment was to be lifted up out of my slacker ways by a girl that was really interested in school, and I got that through Andie. And what you needed was to be validated as a girl who was, like, thrown away by her parents, by someone who was really, like, righteous and full of moral conviction, and that's what she got from Dawson, and them together, it wouldn't really work. But what I was thinking is, and Pacey's like, you're not my type, but I'm like, Jen is absolutely your type. She's a combination of Tamara and Andie.
Ooh, she is.
She's the, like, brash, know-it-all woman mixed with a youthful, ambitious girl. So, in a way, Jen is the perfect combo of Tamara and Andie.
Let's just be real, because Jen is just perfect, period.
Yeah, I mean, and also way too good for anyone, including Pacey.
Including Pacey, yeah. I know, that was interesting. And then Jen's like, wow, I thought Dawson was like the over-analytical type.
Oh my god, yeah. Well, they've been hanging out their whole lives, so they both have a bit of it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's definitely rubbed off on Pacey. But yeah, that's what they kind of leave it as. Like, they're just too level. They're on too level of a playing field.
Yeah, which could be interesting.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So Andie has, like, really gone off the deep end with her new role as, like, the disciplinarian.
Oh my god.
She's really determined not to lose the principal's trust in appointing her to this role of, like, keeping the peace at Cape Side and keeping all the people in line. And she tells the principal that, like, over and over and over when he clearly doesn't want to hear it. Andie's just too extra for me.
Well, she's talking mile a minute again at the principal, and it's like, why don't you just take a back seat?
Yeah, read the room, Andie.
It's kind of sad because everyone's moved on without Andie. No one even really talks about her this episode, and you can kind of see how, like, few friends she has. All that she has is being this kind of snitch, and it's pretty pathetic.
That's sad. Poor girl.
I guess, but she kind of brought it on herself. I used to like her, and now I don't.
Yeah.
So Dawson's, like, crazy nostalgic. He's working with...
What else is new?
Oh my god, constant. So he's working with Joey on the movie, and he's like, oh my god, we're gonna get a movie together again. It's so good that you're making movies again, talking to Joey. And I'm like, she's not making a movie again. She's doing an assignment to get out of writing a harder paper. Like, this is the easy way out. She doesn't want to be a crew member. And Dawson, like, can't let go of the fact that maybe she's gonna be his PA again. And she's like, wait, are you talking about us? Or are you talking about movies?
You talking about movies?
You're talking about practice. Obviously, Dawson's talking about movies. That's all he can ever think about. So, no, it's great that we're friends again, but, like, we're making a movie. It's all he cares about.
And Dawson, I mean, he's so weird because it's like he's always been making movies. I mean, I guess he's happy that Joey's in the movie again, too.
Joey's in the business.
Yeah, he just wants his Joey in the movie biz.
Yeah, but she's not happy, and it just grows and grows from here, but I was sort of like, Joey, you're the one who was pissed at Dawson and pushed him away because you sent because he sent your dad to jail. And I mean, yeah, it was bad, but that was your call to, like, oust him from your life, and now you want him back in your life, and it's just like my head is spinning with who's mad at whom.
I know. Yeah, it's so true. And, like, are they friends? Do they not want to be friends? Do they want to be more? They keep trading ideas and places, and it's too much to keep track of. And Joey gets mad, but I don't know, I feel like she's, like, skipping a few steps. And I just want to comment on both of their fashion choices because Joey is in a really silly knitted bucket hat.
Terrible hat.
It's weird. It doesn't even keep your ears warm. It's New England. Like, it's cold out. And Dawson's in a tech vest.
It's a bad look. He's LL Bean. Return it. They have a very generous return policy. You can buy some Timbs or at least a backpack.
If you buy Timbs, you'll be cool in 2018, Dawson.
Anything would be an improvement on that forest green vest. It was an atrocity.
Little D.
So then it cuts to Grams. Obviously, she has a really harsh opinion of the witches who were burned
this
on
is part
the
of
island.
Dee's docu again.
She says they were harlots who were righteously burned by the Lord and Savior for practicing witchcraft. I mean, Grams, get a grip. Bessie thinks she's telling some story that's not even related to the witches, but just about how some stoner drowned out there, and it's a big close-up on Alexander.
Aww.
Then there's some other characters we haven't met before who think that actually the CIA or the NSA disappeared those children. I mean, we're in conspiracy theory territory. I'll believe anything at this point.
Yeah, just wait. It doesn't sound that far-fetched.
Yeah.
From the 2018 vantage point. So then we get to the dock that's going to take them. Our four heroes. It's just Joey, Dawson, Pacey, and Jen. They all go to Witch Island together.
Andie's busy handing out demerits.
Yeah, Andie
and
is
no
like,
one invited her.
No one invited her. So they're getting ready to board the boat to Witch Island, and Pacey's like, "Where are the snacks at? I'm hungry."
You want some bugles?
No
trying to
one
eat a Cheez-It. No one thought of him or his grumbling tummy.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm starving. I would give my kingdom for a Coke wrapped in tinfoil."
He doesn't read Shakespeare. Dawson, meanwhile, shows up to film, and he gets filmed in return. He's like, and the guy spins the camera around on him, and he's like, I'm making a documentary about all the people making a documentary about Witch Island. Boom! Tables be turned.
So meta.
So meta.
Yeah, that was
probably
funny.
going to be a better documentary, though.
I know, yeah, it's broader.
I mean,
Dawson's documentary is
These
not
winds
that good.
up being, well, no, I mean, it winds up being good because he gets some paranormal activity in the end. No
that's
spoilers.
true. That's true.
But it's too lovey-dovey, which is always his downfall. You'd think that the docs would kind of veer away from that, but somehow they don't because it follows him around like the plague.
Dawson can't do a documentary without getting into the melodramatic
He
workings of his personal love life.
Nothing.
It's
He can't
impossible.
get away from personal narrative. You know, he would be a really good like vlogger. Like he should just do.
He'd be like, "These are my confessions."
Yeah, he should be like the original like cam boy. You know, just filming himself 24/7.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's so many warnings coming from the staff on Witch Island. They're like, "Do not get stuck out here past dark. You're gonna be in trouble." They can't control. Oh, yeah. So he starts talking about the witches. And he's like, you know, the ghosts of the witches are here. And they can't control their urges, just like Jen said. And they're going to take all those urges out on a teeny bopper every once in a full moon. And we all know how dangerous a full moon can be on this show. Jack and Joey, anyone? Hello. Things are about to go down.
Yeah, it gets crazy. The woman that meets them... Is her name Wendy or Windy?
Yeah, Wendy. They're on a historical tour, and Dawson is filming this whole speech, and frankly, I'm surprised that he's allowed to film it, because it seems like people pay a good penny to see this tour.
Yeah, that's true. But I guess she's like, well, might just be good marketing for us. So
I guess.
Let the cameras roll.
But he's going to give it all away for free.
He's giving it away for free. He welcomes them to Witch Island. Then right away, I was nervous because what you're not supposed to do, they do like instantly. They split up. So Pacey and Jen are like, we're hitting the gift shop because Pacey's starving. He's like, oh, I can get a snack there.
The gift shop isn't necessarily frightening.
No, I know, but like when you split up, that just introduces an extra unknown layer.
True, but we've got light of day, we've got tour guides, we've got gift shop. I mean, I wasn't feeling scared yet. I understand you're falling into the tropes.
I'm a big Joey, I guess. I was like nervous.
Yeah.
And then, well, maybe because Pacey and Jen go to the gift shop, but then Joey and Dawson go to the cemetery. It's creepy.
Well, they're creepsters.
Yeah, so she's like, this is where all the filmers want to go. They want to check out the cemetery, so I'll take you guys there. But then we don't really see the cemetery first. We go to the gift shop with Jen and Pacey, and Jen is all still kind of caught up on, why didn't we hook up, Pacey? And she opens up a book, and she finds a love spell. And she's basically about to put a spell on Pacey and turn him into a lovesick pervy puppy Pacey for little Miss Jen Lindley. And she puts on her little witch's hat, and basically
I think she just needs to post a thirst trap pic for Chris Wolf and just get her fixed, because you don't want to hook up with a friend and ruin everything, which she's about to do.
Yeah, it could get really complicated. They think it'll be like no strings attached fun.
It's never that way.
Especially with a spell involved.
Especially when you're doing witchcraft. I mean, you don't know what kind of demons you're
with the dark arts
summoning.
there,
Has anyone seen Hereditary? Hello! You're trying to lose your head over here. So anyway, she is talking about like, why don't I just cast this love spell on you? Because obviously I'm not attracted to you and you're not attracted to me. And I'm like, yeah, right. He's definitely attracted to you. He can't even like finish the sentence without like smirking because it's such a big ass lie. So they're flirting like pretty hard. And
Yeah, Pacey gets insulted when Jen's, because he's like, oh, you're not my type, Jen. And she's like, well, you're not really my type either. And he's like, well, I'm brooding and comely.
And I was like, ew.
It's like, are you, Pacey? Brooding and comely?
No, neither.
I don't think that's really Jen's type either.
No.
Like, she's
I don't know
Henry.
what her
He's
type
neither
is.
of those.
She's not into Henry at all. And she's made it perfectly clear.
I want her to be into
Who
Henry.
she was into that seaman. Who else is she into? Chris Wolf.
Chris Jock.
Oh. She's into...
Ty.
We don't know. No, Ty. No, that was a mistake. Ty was a lapse in judgment. She was under the influence of the Grahams. Mm. I think maybe...
Yeah, Graham sold them hard.
I think, who was that boy that showed up from New York? That was kind of her type.
Oh,
the boy.
Bob? No, Bob was Gail's boy.
That's Gail's boy. Well, Gail and Jen
name.
are cut from the same cloth.
Yeah,
they
are.
like, men. Pretty fucking Pacey. So, anyway, Dawson and Joey are at the cemetery. Joey's talking about, she's still rinsing him about how he's modeling this whole documentary after Blair Witch and it's not original at all. And he's like, hello, you do realize that Blair Witch was fake and mine is real. To be real.
I knew you were going to say that.
And, well, I got to sing at least once. And Joey's like, oh, whatever. And then they head up the cemetery. And the tour guide's doing her spiel. And she's like, yeah, 13 girls died here. And Joey's like, hello, I just did the math. I'm a mathematician. There's only 12 graves. And Wendy's like, no one has ever noticed that before.
Shocking.
It turns out one of the girls, her body was never found. Her name was Mary. It's me, bitches.
Mary's the witch.
It turns out there's two schools of thought. One is that
Mary's the witch.
That it's me, and I'm doing this podcast to set my story straight. One of the theories is that, well, I don't remember. The only one I remember
a witch is haunting the island.
Oh, yeah,
That's
she's haunting the island. Yeah. The other one is that Mary's love interest, William, who was also her adopted brother,
awkward,
came back to save her from the island and she escaped. But I'm like, why would she let all of her sister witches perish? It's rude.
That is rude.
So that's my question.
That's a good question.
If this love story, why'd she let all of her sisters die a brutal, awful, burn at the stake death?
Unless she was rescued before the destruction happened.
I guess, but things were getting dire.
Yeah, you think, like, we're all going to die on this island eventually, so...
Let's get a couple boats.
William, hook it up.
Get your bros
Get
around
my girls
with the
out of
paddle
here.
boats.
Yeah. True, good point. And I guess she was an orphan, too.
She was orphan, yeah.
Sad
Just
story.
like Jen.
Oh, God. I can't believe Jen's that's
She's
upsetting
not
to
legit
me still.
an orphan. Like, her parents are alive, but they abandoned her.
But they abandoned her. Rude.
I mean, she's with Grams, but Grams, too, abandoned her at one point.
Yeah, she did.
Jennifer!
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, so Mary was separated from the love of her life.
I thought you were talking about me for a second. 25 times, probably. Hello.
And Joey and Dawson are kind of talking about that. They're like, wow, like, there's sadness, there's loving, there's uncertainty. You can feel all of that in the air. And Joey's like, Dawson, there's your movie. She's kind of saying, like, that's the angle you should focus on.
No, that's so boring. That's so classic Dawson. We need something new from him, something fresh. Do you think that film instructor would give an F about this? No, she'd be like, Dawson, this is pedantic. This is pedestrian. This is below you. You're only ever going to be an assistant PA because you cannot make it a movie that's not about you.
Yeah. Well, she would say that no matter what he did. But I feel like Joey was... Kennedy, yeah, Miss Kennedy. I feel like Joey is kind of like... She's definitely got an ulterior motive. She's like, look.
She's milking him. She wants to get to the truth. Joey... Go ahead, speak.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, Joey wants to draw Dee into his contemplative ways, think about her, think about them.
What about us?
Exactly.
What about us and the others?
And so Joey's kind of like playing him, like, hey, think about us, and then put it in the movie, and then realize you love me, and then we'll be together.
Girl.
But what, like, a less romantic place than a terrifying witch island?
Witch Island! There's a cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of graves.
Yeah. And then the tour guide is kind of like, all right, guys, well, whatever you do with the movie, whatever, just do not go into the woods.
Do not go into the woods.
And they have been warned. And are they going to go into the woods? Most likely.
Hell yeah.
They already split up once. They're going to go into... They're going to do all the wrong things. We already know.
Yeah.
But
meanwhile,
yeah,
Jen is dipping into a cauldron, casting some spells in the gift shop. She's like, ooh, I'm about to drink this love potion. Pacey, you gotta drink it too. Them's the breaks. And I'm just wondering, like, how are you supposed to get your crush to drink the same love potion as you? Like, that doesn't really work. Like, if you're so desperate to get someone to love you that you're about to cast a spell, the chances are that you don't, like, hang out enough where you can be like, oh, here, have this goopy drink. And that they're going to drink it back. So this is kind of silly. And Pacey drinks it, and he's like, payback's going to be a bitch for this. And then they're, like, joking around. They're drinking it. They're in the back of the gift shop. Wendy walks in. And she's like, what are you doing? You shouldn't mess with things that you don't understand. And I'm like, listen, tour guide, this is just a silly spell that they grabbed out of a book that you were selling in the gift shop. Like, really? We're supposed to believe that it's all powerful and that you were afraid of the spell and yet you're selling it for $1.99?
Yeah, or like, if you're that concerned about people using your cauldron, put it under lock and key. Don't leave it out in the open.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. So, but they did get in trouble. Then
the four of them go on a walk with a map that they bought in the gift shop to go to the church that no one ever goes to. So again,
is the church in the woods?
You gotta go through the woods. To
okay, yeah. So they do go through the woods. I was like,
yeah, but it's like, how do you have the map that you're selling if no one's gonna go? I mean, it's just
Witch Island is confusing.
Witch Island's a joke.
More like Bitch Island.
Yeah, more like Bitch Island is right.
Yeah. So they're heading out to the church. Dawson and Joey are talking about love again. And they're conflicting viewpoints on the love. And
oh my God. Joey says Mary died a very sad and lonely death. And that was hard for me to hear.
Oh, Mary. Would you take it personal?
I did.
Aww.
I don't want to hear that about any Marys. I even wrote it down. Mary died a sad and lonely death. And I was like, God damn it.
Oh, Mary, that's not you.
It hurt.
That's not you. You don't love a William.
Thank God.
But they're kind of saying, like, well, if she died out here, it wasn't really true love, because true love would conquer all in Dawson's mind. He would be like, if it were true love, he would have made his way back. They would have been together. Joey's like, no, not necessarily. They're seeing the cracks in their philosophies.
I mean, it's naivete versus cynicism, which is this old back and forth between the two of them. But also, my thing is, like, so unless you're truly in love with someone, you don't deserve to live? Like, what is this logic? Like, hello, my life still has value.
Oh, Mary's life does have value, regardless,
Thanks,
regardless or not, as if she's in true love with some William.
Oh, William. Never.
But Jen is just irritated by both Joey and Dawson. She's like, just stop, guys.
She's trying to do a casual hookup, all right?
Yeah, it's like, let's not get into all this true love stuff.
It's drama.
Even though it's interesting because Pacey has a true love boat. So he clearly values it too.
He does value it too.
Yeah, but he's kind of thinking he doesn't in this episode.
He's trying to turn on his true beliefs.
Yeah.
So the four make their way to the church, and they read some placard that basically gives them the impression that the townspeople built the church to help the witches find God. But the girls rinsed them and dragged them so hard that the townspeople were just shamed. And Jen was like, I can hang with these witches. And we're like, girl, we know.
Yeah, the preachers got teased so hard by those girls. And they couldn't hang. But they decided to set the church on fire because it came to light that the townsfolk were using the church as a brothel. And they didn't like that. They're like,
Well,
our men are going to the church?
They treated the island with the witches as a brothel.
Oh, the whole island. Yeah.
Once the witches were there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
men stop.
All men stop.
That's our most popular catchphrase. Every episode we have to say it. All men stop.
Literally every episode. I don't think one's gone by without it.
Probably not.
But they set the church on fire because of that, but I feel like it's not really the witch's fault.
Well, Joey thinks that William lit the match.
Yeah.
She's like, he was probably jealous. Lit that match because he's a jerk.
Yeah.
Like,
that's not true love.
Just like you, D. She's throwing flames. She's a flamethrower.
Yeah. Yeah, I wrote that. Did William start the fire?
Yeah. And Dawson's like, well, I think that William saved Mary from the fire. Meanwhile, Jen's looking at Pacey like, where'd he go?
You look like a hot fire.
he went off to take a piss. And she's like, where is he? Where's that pee? And Dawson's like, why does my optimism have you so irked? And, you know, they want to talk about their relationship again. Never-ending cycle.
Yeah, and it's annoying now because they split up again.
Oh my god, again, Joey's like, I don't want to be friends.
Yeah, but Jen goes looking for Pacey because he had to pee in the woods. Stupid. Dawson and Joey go off on their own little adventure. They go to the docks, which is natural for them. Yeah. But they split up, and I'm like, guys, don't do that. It's nightfall almost. You have to be together, or you're gonna get in trouble.
As always.
Dawson really should know better, because he's seen every horror movie known to man.
Yeah.
But he doesn't pay attention to the rules.
Too wrapped up in his personal drama.
So they're split up. It's gonna be bad. Dawson and Joey, they're just caught up in their relationship issues. Dawson is basically like, all right, Joey, you know, we're friends. Like, we're friends. And Joey's like, well, we can't just will our friendship. Like, that's not how this works. We don't know anything about each other. You don't know anything about my life. And, you know, honestly, I don't know anything about your life either, which was established in the very first scene. And it's true. It's like, friends, you should know at least, like, the bare bones of your life. They have a lot of deep history.
The basics. But
they haven't been keeping up at all.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of changes that have impacted them now. And they don't know about it at all. So Joey, I think, has a fair point. And Joey is really, like, for the first time in her life, not feeling that deep connection to Dawson, which for some reason is what got her through everything else in her life. I'm like, Joey, you can probably do better than that. Like, you've got more going for you than your connection to this D. But, you know, that's how she feels, and, you know, it scares her. So she's freaked out by that. And then, you know, they're walking through, talking, walking, and they get to the boat guy, and he's like, all right, I'm peacing out. It's getting dark. I'm going to leave you guys unless you get in the boat right now. And they're like, well, shoot, our friends aren't here.
And he's like, I'll come back in the morning and see who's still alive.
Mary, can you imagine?
No, I mean, they don't take him serious, but they should.
Well, I know. If it were me, well, what would you do? Would you get on that boat?
I'd be like, every man for himself. I don't know what I would do. That's an interesting question.
Depends who the friends are.
Yeah,
probably.
It depends who the friends are. If it was friends that I was close to, like Pacey and Jen, then yeah, I'd stay, and I'd probably just chill on that freaking dock. And I wouldn't leave the dock. The final words of the boat dude who said, whatever you do, don't go in the woods, and I wouldn't go in the freaking woods. But, you know.
Excuse me. Listeners, I might be drinking kids. Beer. But yeah, these are kids. They don't listen to anyone. That freaked me out, though. Yeah, don't go in the woods.
Yeah, then we got to Jen.
Yeah.
She's climbing up Pacey's tree, but he's only feeling lost. And, at least they're lost together, is what I say.
Yeah, he's not feeling the potion
It could be so much worse if they were lost alone.
Oh, my God.
Think about how scary that would be.
Oh, my God.
So Pacey just doesn't understand why he's always the bad guy. And Jen's like, listen, you're not always the bad guy. I'm the creep because a freshman fell in love with me and I hurt his feelings and blah, blah, blah. It's always my fault, too. And then Pacey's like, you know what? Love messes everything up, but sex is nice. It turns out that she's got an inkling for casual sex. And he's like, you know, it would be interesting to be with someone where you agree to the terms beforehand and there's no surprises and emotions don't get in the way. And Jen's like, yeah, it sounds killer in theory. And, Jen's a little smarter than your average bear. I think she knows that this doesn't, it's better in theory than in practice because she's tried it before and she knows it doesn't work. But here she is casting love spells, so who knows?
Jen can't help herself.
And then
she just is sick of all the bad mixtapes.
Oh, for real.
Henry is making her like 6 mixtapes a day, like
Wheatus on every track. So, Pacey's like, this may be the witch's brew talking, but you're starting to look all kinds of cute. So, Pacey's got one thing on the brain, and it's knocking boots.
Yes. It's them being fuck buddies.
We're in that explicit rating.
Got to, listeners. Our parents went to bed, so I'm like, I can drop it.
Drop you bang.
Yeah, so that's brewing in their witch's cauldron. And in the meantime, Dawson and Joey now have their turn in the gift shop, and they are just talking about their relationship and their past and their future and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, okay, guys, enough is enough. And Joey is basically like, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the past, I'm looking at the future, I'm looking at the present. The present basically sucks. And they're talking about how some love stories never end. And that's like the true love story. And it's all about, like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Well, Dawson's basically quoting Joey back to herself, trying to remind her of the girl she used to be who believed in love that was never ending. But she's feeling too rejected to hear it. And I'm sitting here thinking I can't even remember who rejected who. And then I'm like, wait, it was Joey who rejected Dawson. They were together. And then he sent her dad to jail, and then she said enough is enough, and she broke up with him. And that was the last time they were together. She was the one who ended it. And yet, she's the one who needs all this reassurance that she's worthy from him. And I need a swig of vodka just to get through the scene.
Oh my god,
it's so much back and forth.
I know. It's like, yeah, Joey rejected him with the dad thing, but then it seemed like after the summer, Joey wanted to get back together. And Dawson was like, I want to be friends. I don't think so. And
she can't stand to hear the word friends come out of his mouth.
No, it's like the dirtiest F word there is. And there's a lot of dirty F words, listeners. As you all know. from Mary and I, yeah. Yeah, so
Hugging friends.
It's like drown yourself in vodka right now.
Ugh, church bells are ringing.
And then, yeah, Wendy is like hanging out in the gift shop because...
Surprise, we thought she was gone.
She's just chilling.
She's chilling, her hair's down and curly, and she's holding a candle. And she's wearing a cloak.
Looking mighty witchy.
Looking a little witchy.
Say so myself.
Chilling by the cauldron.
But they hear some kind of bell ring, and they're like, oh, that must be Jen and Pacey. Maybe they're at the church. So they go sprinting out to the church, and they all meet there. Jen and Pacey sure are there, but they're like, well, we heard the sound of a bell, but dun dun dun. There is no bell.
Not even a bell on that building.
That's crazy.
Shocking y'all.
That's crazy. I was a little scared there. And then they see some kind of random broomstick just sticking straight out. Mary, that's a witch sign if I ever saw one.
That was witchy as all hell.
This is Witch Island after all.
Yeah, remember the name.
So, freaky. But then, like, it's less freaky.
Yeah, but not only the broomstick, we got a thunderstorm brewing.
Oh, God. Just pile it all on while you're at it, Up the fear factor.
Absolutely.
But after that, I feel like it just kind of like tones down real quick.
We're back at the gift shop and Joey's reading another freaking letter.
How
many letters does she have to read?
I'm like, well...
She can't get enough of this diary.
Is she in the gift shop or is she still in the church?
They're back in the gift shop.
Oh.
She's reading a letter that William wrote. And I'm like, how did William send you a letter if this one is an abandoned witch island they were banished to that no one ever went to? With the UPS man can come, but no one else? I mean, this was a big plot hole that pissed me off.
That's a good point.
So she gets this letter, and I don't know. Jen is like, oh, you should believe in love. Hop on the happy train, Joe. And Joey's like, sometimes love just ain't enough. She's like, not to be like all into the pop lyrics, but that's how I feel. And Jen's like, let me give you a mantra, girl. Don't let somebody else's love life dictate your own. And that is some good ass advice.
That is a really good advice.
Jen always has good advice.
Jen, yeah, she's the guru of the show. It's so true. I'm going to take that advice, personally.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dawson he's kind of had enough. He's stopped filming his documentary.
Even he's deflated, and it's hard to see
Yeah.
the D-deflate, because he's really up his own ass.
Oh. Yeah, he's like, I'm not really feeling visionary right now. And he, in a moment of friendship, asked Pacey for some advice. He asked him if he's made a mistake.
Well, he's only friends with Pacey when he needs advice. Come on.
I know, yeah, it's
Pacey
true.
deserves a better friend, but don't we all?
Yeah, Pacey, he knows he's a sidekick.
Oh.
Poor Pacey.
He's the side beast.
But it was interesting what he asked him, because he's like, well, Pacey, what if Joey and I don't end up together? What if it's because of something I did? And that makes me think, like, well, Dawson, in his heart of hearts, feels like he and Joey are destined to end up together, and they're going to end up together, and they should end up together.
Well, yeah.
And he's like, did I just jeopardize this? And Pacey's like, you know, Dawson, you're the kind of guy that just, I know you wear your heart on your sleeve, and whatever you did in the moment, if you were listening to your heart and you did it, then you did the right thing. So don't worry about it. You're just following your heart. But that was interesting insight into Dawson, because it sounded like he's been playing this game with Joey for a while now. Like, we're just friends, we're just friends, we're just friends. But deep down, does he think eventually they'll be more than friends?
I feel like Dawson's saying we're just friends to protect himself from rejection. I mean, I think at this point, if Joey rejects him again, it's just going to destroy him. I mean, look at what a mess he was when he was with his mommy, watching the movies and eating the gummy bears. I mean, can he go back to that? And I mean, also with the dissolution of his parents' marriage, he's seen how they can't even be friends anymore. And I think it's just like, he's like, well, I'd rather have the emotional support of my friend than just lose everything because of love.
Yeah. But I feel like Dawson, like, Joey is just trying so hard to get with Dawson again. And he's holding her at such arms, like, even for friendship. He's like, we're friends, but
she
I don't
holds
wanna know
him at
anything
arm's
about
length,
you.
too. I mean, she's always ragging him about Eve, and Eve's not even there anymore.
Yeah, but I feel like if he wanted her back, like, it's, again, it's the very beginning
for a
of
moment,
the season.
but for how long? For how long until she got bored again by him?
I don't know, but
it's hot and cold.
It sounds like
Exhausting.
It sounds like what he's doing now will, like, make them just never together at all either. So it's tricky.
I think he just wants to take things slow. And meanwhile, Jen and Pacey just want to bang each other. No feelings attached. They're talking about it, how they feel, and he's like, should I take my pants off? And she's like, well, maybe we should kiss first. Then they lean into each other for the kiss. And Jen's like, oh, wait, is this a spell? They don't give a shit if it's the spell. They make out hard. They have a steamy make-out. And all of a sudden, a burst of flame and fire and brimstone comes shooting out of the window. It's an eruption of fire.
So if anything gets townspeople angry, it's casual sex. They gotta punish that.
Absolute. And what was so crazy is this really intense scene breaks out of, flame and thunder and wild and chaos. And the four of them are just like, let's go outside. And I'm like, don't you think there's going to be some flying monkeys out there? Why are you going outside in this? But they do it kind of fearlessly.
Well, I think they're afraid of getting burned in the church.
I guess.
Because that's how the witches died.
The witches are out there, too. So anyway, they go outside, and Dawson thinks there must be some logical explanation for this. And I'm like, really?
When has Dawson thought there was a logical
explanation?
explanation?
He isn't following his heart with the, fantastical story. But Joey's so freaked out that she wants to swim all the way home. Miraculously, they find a boat and they leave, which is weird because that dude took the last boat home.
It's very weird.
But there is a boat there that's back. So maybe he came back, changed into a crazy costume, and rained chaos on them for his documentary. We really don't know.
Yes, unanswered as of yet.
So after that, it cuts to a few days later. Dawson has cut and edited the movie. He's showing the documentary at school.
To the principal.
To the principal.
Crazy. The principal is so involved.
And he's just like, I'm really... they don't want to hire another actor.
I know. But it's funny. I just want to keep bringing it up. Like, this is the principal.
Every time the principal's involved...
He's watching Dawson's film.
We're going to bring it up.
And grading it.
So, the principal... Dawson remarks that he's surprised that what he found when he thought he was going to make a horror doc was a love story. And the island embodies the emotional turmoil of a girl who doesn't know what future has in store for her in the boy she loved.
Yeah, and the principal's like, oh, this is a bit derivative of the Blair Witch Project, Dawson.
Corny as shit.
Yeah, like, good try, but it's a little derivative. But then the CIA girl notices, oh my god, there are 2 people standing on the dock in the very last scene of your movie, and you're all on the boat.
You all row away.
Who is that? And then they pause it, and they zoom in, and they're like, oh my god. And there really is. There's a lady in a witch's hat, and some other dude in, like, old-timey clothing. And it's creepy. Creepy as hell. And then it's interesting, too, because they cut to Andie, who's befriended Belinda, and they're like the enforcers of the school. They're like, you all are not following any of the rules. They're giving out all these citations. There's a line around the block, basically, for people to get their punishment.
She's handed out too many detention slips.
So many slips. And the principal comes over. He's like, what the heck is going on here? And he basically berates Andie because he's like, well, of course everyone's in violation of the rules of conduct because they were made in 1957.
Well, Andie's basically a modern-day witch hunter.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So...
And she likes it.
Yeah, she's like, I get the power. I can keep all of you in line. It was a kind of interesting parallel. Then we're back at the video store, and Pacey, of course, is sleeping on the job.
Yeah.
Very characteristic with his character. And Jen wakes him up all pouty and leaning over. And she's like, Pacey, we need to talk about what happened. We need to talk about it. Yeah.
Let me see that pee.
Oh, Pacey. Oh, my God. So Pacey's like, well, maybe we should take what happened on the island as like an omen. You know, as soon as we kissed, it basically all hell broke loose.
Like, nah, bro. I want to see the D.
Yeah, Jen's not deterred. She's like, I don't believe in that.
I'm not afraid of any witches.
She's like, I don't believe in God. I don't believe in anything.
She's like, I'm a witchy bee.
Yeah.
Witchy poo. I'm trying to get it.
She's like, no, I want that D. I want that PD.
And they're very awkwardly planning their sex schedule. It couldn't be less sexy.
Yeah.
She's like, well, Pacey's like, oh, should we kiss on it? And she's like, no, kissing is intimate. We're not about intimacy. And they, like, shake on it. And I'm like, this is not going to end well. And if you're not even kissing.
Yeah, what's the point?
That's going to stink. And you're going to regret it. It's going to be awkward as hell the next day. I mean, none of their planning is working out well. I guess it's something you got to learn on your own. But it's going to be awkward no matter what you do. And then Joey...
I mean, what could be more intimate than sex? It's like, you can't keep the
way
intimacy
more
out of
than
it.
Kiss.
Exactly. Kids, you're crazy.
Kids don't know. So, they're talking about... Joey and Dawson are talking about the movie and all of its, you know, twists and turns. And Joey thinks that it was the tour guide and the boat dude who were dressed up and messing with them at the end of the movie. And it's interesting because Joey was the most afraid in the moment, and now she's being the most logical. But Dawson now thinks that they were actual ghosts of Mary and William. So he has abandoned his reason. Because in the church, he was like, there's a logical explanation. But now he wants to believe in the fantastical. But then he has a moment where he's able to translate everything that's happened into his current relationship. And he apologizes, which is kind of rare for Dee. Apologizes to Joey because he realizes he's been taking their friendship for granted. And he realizes that they can't just pick up where they left off. And that there are things that have been missing, and he needs to be a better friend if he wants to be in her life. I mean, we come to realize, though, that they're never going to stop intellectualizing. Although Joey says, let's not talk this to death. And Dawson says that it's immensely doable for them to not talk something to death. But I must say that I disagree. And I think that they'll be talking it to death next episode.
Until they die.
Very first scene. Until they burn in a church.
They literally will talk themselves to death.
That's their witch island.
It's true.
A never-ending loop of what are we? I don't want to be friends.
I know. I was like, that would be nice if they could, but...
They can't.
They're just check-in, as Joey said. I think it was Joey. It's going to be like checking in every minute until they've checked in under every single rock they have. So, yeah. But I don't know, guys. I thought this episode, The Witch Island, I was looking forward to. I thought it would be more like dramatic with witchiness, but it was really like relationshipy. Not a surprise, really, but I was like, oh, this would be a cool one. I don't know what I was expecting.
It wasn't. I liked it. I liked Friday the 13th more.
Yeah,
They were
Friday
along
the 13th was more
similar
like
lines, but I enjoyed the fright of Friday the 13th way more than Witch Island because I felt like they were kind of reductive.
They held back with the
Yeah.
Witch Island stuff. They could have gone like real big.
What about the other 12 witches?
Yeah,
It's like their story didn't matter because they weren't in love, and that kind of pissed me off.
I know, right? They're like Jen and Pacey. Like, give them something.
Give them a little tease or something.
Yeah, let's have some
Give
fun.
them a story.
I don't know, guys, but it was a good episode, all in all. All right, Mary. Well, I want to hear about your dares this week.
You know what's embarrassing? I don't even remember what my dares were, and I didn't do them. I mean, if I did them, then I forgot. So they shouldn't even count.
Oh, I really tried. I was like, I remembered my dares, but I didn't do them either. And they were not that hard ones.
Wow, we suck.
We're kind of terrible.
Oh, man, I'm so ashamed.
We should be burned in the church.
We're also a day late at least a day late with our recording.
Yeah, listeners, thanks for sticking with us. As we said, we're home. We just want to chill.
We're chilling hard.
Our schedule's all thrown off.
We're
But
drinking.
yeah. Well, thanks for hanging out a day late for us. They're probably 2 by the time this is posted. Let's be real. But Mary, what do you have for me this week?
Christine, I got some good ones.
Oh, sweet.
I underlined a few different things during our recording.
Yeah?
So I'm going to give you a few, and I'm going to start with this one. Whatever you do, don't go in the woods.
Oh.
That's one for you.
Don't go in the woods. I don't know. I live in a city, but I'm going to try to work that in.
Okay, and then here is another one that's going to be pretty flirty. I like to give you the flirties.
Oh, you do. You like to get me flirting.
You're starting to look all kinds of cute.
Aww.
And you could even say that to a friend.
I could.
Okay, and now here is the other one. Now this one you can say when you're watching Chris Christie on TV.
Oh, Becca.
You can say it.
You like that.
You can say it whenever with the current news cycle. The present sucks.
Oh my god.
Good one, right?
That's too true for words.
Too true.
Present sucks. Alright, Mary, let me see what I got for you. I wrote down a few here. Let me find my little quotes. Ay, ay, ay.
You gotta learn to do these in advance.
I know. I write down little quotations on my quotes. Oh, see, that's smart. I'm going to adopt that.
Mm-hmm.
You could say, this is a long one. This is going to be, I knew you were going to say, this is so hard. But you could say, what is it about me that inspires such vitriolic diatribes?
Wow, who said that?
That was Pacey.
Maybe
when
I
he was talking to Jen.
I get rinsed by our parents tomorrow.
You could say that. You could say that when you're rinsed. Here's kind of a flirty one, but maybe like a deep flirty. If you're trying to go deep with the flirt, sex is never casual.
Oh, that's not a flirt.
That was
that's
a Jen
like
Lindsley.
Steer clear.
Ooh. And let me see the other one. I might give you the one that we thought Jen was really, really good advice. Don't let somebody else's love life dictate your own.
Nice.
I feel like you should say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cloying and annoying worldview was another one I wrote down, but that would be harder to say, I think. So there's your dares. We'll see if we do them this week. Listeners, it's been fun. I hope you enjoyed this app because Mary and I were in person, so the dynamic might be a bit different.
IRL.
But yeah, I think we have a good rapport in
Yeah, I
person.
think it was good. You definitely heard our mom laughing and giggling.
Our mom is a little giggly.
Our dad fell asleep real quick after we started recording. So.
We were basically reading him a lullaby.
Yep.
Or a bedtime story.
So, we're glad that you stick with us, and we're so happy that you're listeners. If you like what you hear, please give us a review on iTunes. It helps a lot. We'd love a 5-star review if you're interested in giving one. And subscribe. You know what I mean? Why not? So we are on Twitter. If you want to chat with us, we are pretty chatty. We're on Twitter at wah. Why doesn't my mouth work?
You never say it the first time.
Wah. Dawson Cries. WAH Dawson Cries.
That's
so
right.
We don't have to.
Dawson Cries, we don't have to. That's right, baby. Yeah, check us out on Twitter. Subscribe on iTunes. Smash that subscribe button. It would be fun. You get us updated as soon as we're live. And yeah, sorry we're late this week, but we'll be there. We'll be there soon.
We were stuck on Witch Island, and it was crazy.
It was so hot. The fires were burning us.
It was intense.
Yeah, we're a little witchy, so it was dangerous.
Burned at the stake.
But all right, thank you so much, listeners, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Bye.
Bye.